Greetings adventurers, Frost here. Today I want to discuss what world buffs you will be getting for Phase 1 of Classic WoW, and I have one buff that is going to benefit a mage more than any other class. Since many of the world buffs won't be in the game for Phase 1, it'll be quite easy to collect all the world buffs. There are 4 world buffs for Phase 1. Those include Warchief's Blessing, which is Horde only, the Songflower buff, the Blackrock Spire fire resistance buff, and the Black Fathom Deep's frost damage buff. There is no Ani Head, no ZG buff, no Silithus buffs, and so on. Horde only get those 4, and Alliance only have 3 because Warchief's Blessing is Horde only. If you are a mage, you will want to get the BFD buff first. This is because it is the least impactful buff, it lasts 1 hour, and it takes the longest to get. As you can see, the best part of this buff is the 15 frost damage, but if another caster or healer really wants to min-max, there's also 5 int and 5 spirit on it. It will take you about 10 minutes to get the buff if you start in Orgrimmar, and if you are Alliance it will take you longer, closer to 20 minutes. This is because Darnassus is farther from Ashtanar than Orgrimmar is from Zorumgar's post, and then Ashtanar is also farther from BFD than Zorumgar's post is. So once you make it to BFD, you can run past everything straight to the entrance of the instance. Once you are in the instance, run deep into BFD, and you should be able to avoid pulling anything by staying as far away as possible and using Blink to get past mobs. I also recommend using a map to guide you the first couple times, because once you make it to this main room, you want to make sure you take the path that is directly south of the center. Then follow that path until you come to an intersection. You go straight here into the Murloc Cave that is headed by Gellyhost. You should also be able to get past all these mobs to get behind the table that the boss is next to, and then all you have to do is click on the table and you have your buff. Now just teleport back to Orgrimmar. The next buff is the Songflower buff from Felwood. For this one, you will have to cleanse a corrupted Songflower. To cleanse it, you need 2 Cenarian Plant Salve, which you get from completing a repeatable quest at My Best River Breeze if you are Horde, and Arathondrous Silver Sky if you are Alliance. Once you cleanse it, you will receive the buff, and someone else will be able to click the flower after you to also get the buff. If the Songflower works like on private servers, then your entire raid can click the flower at the same time, and you will all get the buff, so keep that in mind. This buff lasts 1 hour, increases your melee, ranged, and spell crit by 5%, and increases all stats by 15. Next up is Warchief's Blessing. This is a Horde only buff, and it comes from completing the quest to kill Ren Blackhand, which is part of the Onyxia attunement chain. Most guilds will set a time just before the raid that they are going to drop the Warchief's Blessing buff at, and all you have to do is make sure that you are logged on and in Orgrimmar to receive this buff. The buff comes from turning in the quest to kill Ren Blackhand, and I don't think there will be a cooldown on this buff, but I couldn't find any definitive information. So there may be a 30-minute or 1 hour cooldown. We'll have to find out when Classic gets released. This buff lasts 1 hour and gives you 300 HP, 15% melee haste, and 10 MP5. Finally, we have the Blackrock Spire fire resistance buff. You get this buff from mind controlling a Scar Shield Spellbinder just inside the entrance to Blackrock Spire. You don't even have to go into the upper or lower section. This buff lasts 1 hour and gives you 83 fire resistance, which is super helpful for Molten Core. And now you have all your world buffs and you are ready to walk into Molten Core and slay Ragnaros. There is also a trick that most of you are aware of, but I thought I should mention it. That is, you are able to log off with your world buffs and the duration won't tick down while you are logged out. This means that you can go and collect all of your world buffs the night before the raid, and then when you log on right before the raid, you are ready to go with all of your world buffs. One last thing before you leave. For you super min-maxers out there, if you are Horde and you know an Alliance Paladin and Priest, then you can also get a blessing from the Paladin, like Kings. Or if you know 2, then you can get Kings and Might. Then for you dirty Alliance players, you can also do this with Warchief's Blessing if you know a Priest on Horde. Then if you really want to min-max, there are also the Blood Shards of Agamagon quests that you can do for some other small buffs. I don't think these are worth the effort since they only last 30 minutes, but you can get 10 intellect, 10 strength, 10 agility, and 25 spirit for 30 minutes each from a horde-only repeatable quest at Camp Tarajo. He also offers an absorb and reflect damage buff and a movement speed buff, but they only last 10 and 5 minutes respectively, so those are definitely not worth it. And that concludes my Phase 1 World Buff Guide. I hope this guide helps, and as always, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all on Azeroth.